This 2014 Orange County Fair, we've got the Orange County Aikido School from the city of Orange under the direction of Brandon Ishikasa.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I'd like to welcome you all here on behalf of the Orange County Aikido School. I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy the day here. I'm grateful that those of you who could join us now. We're going to provide a demonstration of the art of Aikido. Aikido is a little bit different than other martial arts in the sense that the philosophy behind it is not based on hurting other people, but in many ways attempting to control and return the situation back to a more peaceful beginning. As you can see, our children are entering first. We receive students from the age of 6 years and older. The adults are behind them. Sensei Brandon Ishikasa will bow the class in to you as a sign of respect, and this will begin our demonstration very shortly. The Aikido School of Orange County was founded in 1964 by Sensei Harry Ishikasa. So we have just celebrated our 50th year as a dojo here in Orange County. This afternoon, you will see the children representing the dojo in the first half of our program here. The second half of the program will be the adults. The adult portion will include certain weapons and those items. Now we are going to begin by what we call Aiki Nage here. Again, I will be using some Japanese terms, but I will quickly be making a translation of them. All of our students are asked to learn how to protect themselves in situations. So the act of rolling or taking a controlled fall is what you're viewing here. Our children, our adults. As you can see, the emphasis for our children is that they learn to have confidence in their body. This is not so much a matter of toughening a child, but helping them to understand that their body can feel as if it is a protective part of them, rather than to worry about that in the world. So our students, again, whether they be young, whether they be girls or boys, are equal in terms of their learning of the rolling and the falling here. This helps them certainly in all the other sports, as you can tell. When you are not afraid of experiencing your body in different positions in the world, you develop much more confidence. And so even our youngsters oftentimes will learn how to take what we call a hard fall. And this is what you see here. Now as we complete this portion, we will be asking our children again to... That's very good, thank you very much. The children certainly appreciate your recognition of them. And I'm again mindful that this time Sensei Ishikasa will bring out what is a wooden staff that's called a jo in Japanese. And he's going to invite the students to jump over the staff. And as you can see, the children are challenged by Sensei Ishikasa to take on that little extra challenge in their life. And this helps to build a child's confidence and their sense of being able to reach out literally and do more in life. So again, Aikido is both appropriate for both boys and girls. And again, I think this is what helps us. Now we have, this is a super achiever in our dojo. This is Kimiko Okan. This is Sensei Ishikasa's daughter. So, see, in Aikido, we teach our kids to be smart as well. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Kimiko, for that wonderful display of thinking on your feet, literally. Now we're going to go into the children's section. Kimiko and Vivian will be coming forward. The techniques that you see are basically grabs and punches. And again, this is not so much that we're training them to fight, but learning how to control their center, control their body, and to provide pinning and controlling techniques rather than injuring another person. So for our children, this is a very important aspect of our training. Again, it is not to create children who are aggressors or bullies. That is the one thing we do not teach at the Aikido school. The children are moved back and forth between being an attacker and a defender. At this time, it's Kimiko who is doing all of the defending here. And again, please allow your appreciation to take the form of some applause for our younger children. Now, we're going to bring forward two brothers. The nice thing about the Aikido school is that it is open to both families and siblings. It makes for a very wonderful sense of fellowship. So as we see here, Justin and Andy as brothers, can you see that they are learning how to work out conflict? So I'm hopeful that at home they're learning to practice that as well. But here on the mat, as you see, there are grabs, what we call katate, which is a grab. And now, as they're finishing, provide them a little bit of appreciation. Now we're going to be calling forward Ayana and Pili. Now this is a father-daughter combination here. Again, they will be defending and attacking. Ayana, as you can see, must find ways in order to maintain her calmness, her control, keeping her center, and dealing with a father who wants too much homework done to him. So this is a way in which our children can experience moving with their parent in ways that allow the child to experience the best of themselves. And thank you so much. We want to give particularly Ayana applause on that. And for Pili, too bad when she turns 16. Unfortunate that might be. Okay, now we're going to have David and Brian again. We are looking at brothers, and they will be being attacked in the katatori. So this is a shoulder kind of grab. Again, there are different attacks are meant just to help the Aikido student learn how to use their total body. Attacks can sometimes come from behind and front. They can be punches, they can be roundhouses. As you can see, the idea of control moves towards pins and immobilizing the attacker rather than harming them. This is a key part of what our children learn. And as demonstrated by David and Brian as brothers, again, be aware of the sense of how they attempt to protect themselves, but also how they try not to injure each other here. And again, they'll end again with a pin. The pin is effective and not meant to be dangerous here. Now, as they complete their task here, please give them a good applause. Now we will have Vivian and Ayana coming forward. Again, this will be a shoulder grab. And again, the idea is how does that youngster maintain their sense of balance, their sense of control, and a peaceful attitude, not a frightened attitude, but not an attack attitude as well. So for our children, learning how to control the mind and the body are both equally important. And again, this idea is that children are very, very capable, even at younger ages, of understanding these principles here. Again, when we see the pins applied, they're not meant to cause pain, they're just meant to say to that person who's attacking, this is enough, let's return back to our sober state. And again, as you can see, the pins that even the children are applied are not allowed in mixed martial arts because they are so effective. Now, as they're finishing, give them a round of applause. Very good. Now we're having Noah and his father Yuzo come forward. This is a father and son team. And as you can see, once again, the opportunity for children and their parents to relate to one another in a different way. See, this is probably every son and boy's dream, isn't it? Every daughter's as well. Can you imagine the fun, though, that they can have with each other, and rather than create fear and animosity for one another, they're really doing much more helping each other learn about control, being centered, and also using their body. And this is exactly perhaps what Yuzo deserves. No, I'm sure not. Thank you so very much. Now we're having Ayana and Vivian come forward. I'm sorry. We have to move back here. We're going to our task here. Now we're going to see Ellie and Danny, yes. And as you can see, they're doing different techniques. Both boys and girls can work together on this level here. And Isabella is not at the same advantage as Danny is here. So when we see that our girls as well as our boys are all practicing the same principle: balance, control of the mind and the body. Wonderful work on their part. Okay, now we have the return of our ladies here. And we're going to be looking at shomen, which is basically a strike right down the center. And we watch again whether the girls have their centeredness, their balance, whether they can keep good control of their body as well as guide their attackers here as well. This, I hope that you will see that the Aikido is open once again to the best that we can offer our children. Again, there's certainly a lot of issues of bullying and things in school. This is not meant to provide a way to get even. Thank you so much. Very good, very good. Absolutely. Okay, now we have Brian and David here. We'll be doing what we call Moritsuki, or a punch to the chest area. Again, our boys and girls practice these same principles together. The teachings of Aikido reach all the way down to the very most basic ability to stand in a certain way, maintain a certain posture, and at the same time maintain control of ourselves. Our founder, again, Harry Ishisaka, was a true believer in teaching students not only the techniques, but attitudes. And those attitudes, in many ways, are translated into the movement to attempt to be harmonious with others. Thank you. Give them a good round of applause if you will. Thank you so much. Now we're having Otra and Ian come forward. They will be doing a little more of the shoulder grab or lapel grab as we move into the adult section of our program here. And again, as you can see, the whole idea in these pins that are being applied is that they're so effective that they are not allowed in the mixed martial art tournaments because they literally can stop a person but will not hurt him. Again, we are a dojo in the city of Orange on Katella Avenue. If you are ever in our area, please do drop in or again visit our website on the signs ahead of us here. So as you watch our young men, be able to look at the different kinds of arm pins and manipulations. These require our students to become more and more flexible. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much for your idea. Now we're having Ian return with Isabella, and they will be doing hand and wrist grabs here, variations. And again, the idea of our girls and boys sharing equally, being challenged equally, being able to learn to relax, keep a centered and calm mind, to be able to follow and fall away from harm. These are things that Ian certainly and Isabella are attempting to demonstrate here. The idea of control is something very important that we help to teach our children. There are too many times that they can lose Very much. Thank you. I'm going to give them a good round of applause here for coming forward. Now we're having two of our adult students come forward, Eric and Dale. They will be offering variations on a Yokomen attack, which is a roundhouse attack, as you can see. And again, keeping one center, knowing how to control ourselves even before we control the attacker. This is the key in studying Aikido arts. Again, it is not about the idea of who can hurt the other the most. That's not the idea. Again, as you can see, certain techniques require a person to take a fall. I want to thank them for their effort. Thank you very much, Eric and Dale. Now we're having Ayana come forward with Yuzo. Again, Ayana and Yuzo are a father-daughter combination here. So we see that in their family, the father, Yuzo, doesn't really get a break at all here. So we want, who should we have more sympathy for here? The children or the parent? I think absolutely we need to have as much sympathy as possible for the parent. Ayana is doing a wonderful work in terms of keeping her center, keeping her balance, and that seemed to have a little extra oomph in it that I saw in Ayana's face. Very fine, very fine. Good work. It helps them to develop their sense of keeping their mindfulness, etc. Now we have
changing it up.
Now, again, we have Dale and Sensei. And again, as you can see, sometimes the art is sped up at times, but other times with our more advanced students. But look for the general principles again. This is a showman attack, and again, this is a cut to the center of the body here. Very fine. I'm going to give Dale. Now we'll have Danny and also Sensei Padilla coming forward. These would be attacks from the rear, and so not all the attacks come from the front. So as Sensei Padilla is trying to get around Danny responds in kind and attempts to move in ways that harmonize the movement of the attack along with the need to protect himself, but also to cause as least amount of damage as possible. So notice as the demonstration continues that our students, whether they be children or adults, are attempting to keep a centered position. When we look at the difficulties here, I'm going to give them a nice round of applause here. Thank you so much. And now we have Yuzo and Ian, and no, Ian is not the son of Yuzo here. So we get to experience Yuzo now demonstrating some of the arts that come from the wrist grip here. And again, the idea of movement, the idea that there are openings that can cause harm, but the choice always is to choose life and protect that life rather than eliminating an attack on the person here. So as Yuzo continues, you can see that there are openings that you can really harm a person with, but he's choosing not to do that. I want to thank them for their demonstration here. And now we move to Sensei Luna and Dale. They're going to again offer demonstration on Tatori, which is again the grabs, but you can see Sensei Luna use these effective pins again to control the situation rather than to hurt and harm the situation. As you know, or maybe as you don't know, many of the United Nations forces are trained here in the pins and techniques so that the United Nations forces aren't put in positions where they are hurting others. As you can see, Sensei Luna moves from the center, in other words, a point of balance, extending himself in ways that are absolutely important here. And as we can see, whether our United Nations forces and in many cities, oftentimes the police departments ask the Aikido instructors in their area to train. We want to thank Sensei Luna and Dale. Now we'll keep Sensei Luna out here for what we call Hanmi Handachi, this is where Sensei Luna will work from a kneeled position, and our students then are asked in many ways, even if you are in the so-called down position, and you still have the ability to move, to provide flexibility, to be able to pin the attacker, and again, do so without causing deep pain or problems here. As we watch the pins, they're very effective. We take the time to teach. Our instructors are all volunteers. Thank you so much. Our staff is not paid. We are a nonprofit, and this certainly means that this is an art of true dedication. We have an all-volunteer staff and a nonprofit dojo here. And now we're bringing out Kai Shiwaza. This is again with Sensei Padilla and Dale, and so you'll see that there are back and forth movements. Okay, sometimes we are asked to reverse our techniques. Sometimes we may see that sometimes we start out as attacking, but oftentimes defending. So if you watch this art closely, what starts off as an attacker winds up being the defender here. This asks our students to be just a little bit more sophisticated in their movements and to be able to adjust to a situation. This perhaps is the point of the Aikido arts, is that we start with the basics, learning and helping the children learn the basics, and as we move up to adult kind of levels, we move into techniques and ways of being effective. Thank you again so much for that. At this time, sometimes we want to look at, I wonder what would be a possible scenario that sometimes we see our young ladies in. It's summertime. Ayana certainly is just an absolutely normal teenager here. And as teenagers do, they happen to be texting. Unfortunately, we have some very evil guys around them. You can see Ayana using her sense of her sense of balance and being able to help defend herself. And even if she's on the ground, she can still move and be flexible. And this is part of what we want to teach our youngsters, is that they, in many ways, aren't going to be facing kicks and punches, but they often may have been asked to defend themselves. All right. Thank you so much, Ayana. And just as our youngsters are prone to do, after an exciting experience, they get back to their texting. Yes. What a wonderful experience it is to have our kids here. And now we move into a weapons section here. We'll have 4 of our instructors come forward, led by Sensei Luna. In Aikido, we're asked to learn to work with traditional weapons. This is a staff. This is a 22 movement. Notice the different positions that the staff is put in. And again, this is again to show that we can use our whole body, to use it in ways where we go forward, to the side, backwards, and that we have the ability to be flexible and control. Again, we thank them for their hard and skilled work here. And that was with the jo. Again, that's with the wooden staff. So some of these, again, weapons are traditional to the different arts. This is called the kumijo. This is where 2 people have the staff, and they're working using the Aikido principles, just as if they were an attacker, but to show in many ways where to find the openings. In Aikido is to look for openings. In this case, we can see that there are openings that potentially can cause harm. But the piece that we're studying here is that they will stop short of that. So the traditional arts, again, do involve this wooden staff. They will also include knife as the student becomes more advanced, and we see that they go on to sword arts as well. Thank you so much. We thank Sensei Padilla and Sensei Ralph for that. Now we'll have Sensei Tyson and Sensei Michael come forward again. And And this time they will be using a tanto, what is called knife here. So again, the same basic principles that have applied that our children have learned, now we see move to a little more advanced level with our children, from the children's level. So again, handling a knife, or handling any object, we still keep the same principles: balance, control, and immobilization. Okay? And again, this again is what is so very important in a world where potentially there's too much conflict. As we also work with our students over and over, we help them understand that developing their mental abilities is as important as their physical abilities here. As they complete their work and come forward. I'm going to look at another little aspect of Aikido. This is as the training continues for our students. We're moving towards the philosophy that in every situation we want to find a sense of peace. And in this case, I'm going to ask Yuzo to come forward, and as I'm demonstrating the fact that every technique has a potential for hurt and pain, but at the same time it has a potential for peace. Almost all the spiritual traditions of the world have an experience where they bring their hands together. Whenever we see the hands coming together, we know that that is a sign of peace. So whether it's in India, Japan, whether it is in Europe or Christian communities, we know that there's a possibility of peace there. So I will ask Yuzo to help me, and I will ask Sensei Padilla to read a few of the statements that our Sensei has come forward in his writings. I'm going to just remove my watch.
So as Ishigaki Sensei had said, our art was synthesized shortly before the Second World War by Morihei Ueshiba. And these are some of the writings that he said about what we're doing. The way of the warrior is based on humanity, love, and sincerity. The heart of martial valor is true bravery, wisdom, love, and friendship. Emphasis on the physical aspects of warriorship is futile, for the power of the body is always limited. Also, he said, as you can see, our techniques are very fluid, that the techniques of Aikido change constantly. Every encounter is unique, and the appropriate response should emerge naturally. And lastly, ultimately, you must forget about technique. The further you progress, the fewer teachings there are. The great path is really no path. Thank you.
As we advance in Aikido, every student is asked to look at the fact they can have to make a choice between violence or bringing it to a peaceful solution. As we see right now in the kick defenses, Sensei Shisaka and Sensei Tyson are helping us to see that no matter what the attack is, that again, Aikido principles in back action. And again, that action is about resolving the conflict, doing as minimal amount of harm as possible. So Aikido's principles move throughout all of this area. And thank them for that. Now we're going to ask Sensei Padilla and Sensei Tyson to come forward. They are using another weapon that's traditional to many of the martial arts. It's called the Hokken, which translated in English, it's the sword. And the sword arts really require a person to practice both mind and body coordination. As you can see, Sensei Padilla is able to protect himself, also to remove the weapon of attack, and also not to cause the attacker fatal harm here. As you can see, our advanced students really work on the mental side as well as the physical side. And again, this is an aspect that's very unique and important to Aikido. That it is truly meant to be an art of peace, even though it's in a tradition of violence. And perhaps that is something that is more relevant today, as you can see around us, that we want to find a way to resolve conflict is as harmless a way as possible. Now, we want to again thank both our senseis here. Now we're going to ask Sensei Luna and Sensei Padilla to express the Jiwaza arts here. They'll be doing up to 10 variations together. We'll give them a moment to come forward. We'll have Yuzo be Sensei Luna's partner here. As you can see, the bowing is a sign of respect. In some arts, bowing is not included. But in terms of Aikido, respect for each other is very important. Again, observe Sensei Luna's position that there could be real harm by there is not that. The whole idea, again, is that there could be tremendous and fatal harm applied, but not good. That's wonderful. Very good work on our students' part here. Now we move to the very last portion of our demonstration. And this involves our chief instructor, Sensei Brandon Ishisaka. And again, we will be using different weapons, and he will be demonstrating how to defend himself in a situation where he does not have a weapon. Again, the idea is that this is not so much our modern world, but it is a traditional way of training. Training our body, our mind, to find ways to be in this world, to be able to handle stress, pressure, even conflict, but find ways to do, again, our very best. Be in that place of harmony for ourselves. And when we are, we don't escalate a situation, as you can see. As you watch Sensei Ishisaka, be aware he's maintaining his sense of centeredness in body and mind and expressing that in ways that are very important. Yes. Now, as we begin to make the shift over from weapons to empty hands, we can see that if someone is grabbed upon using Aikido techniques, that we use our center of ourself and use the opponent's own muscular strength against themselves. So again, this is the part that makes this art absolutely available for children, our young ladies. And now we have what we call a randori, which is multiple attacks. The idea, again, is for Sensei Ishisaka to maintain his calmness, his sense of focus, and then his sense of ability to stack wood as he does that. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. As Sensei Ishisaka bows out, if you would provide a nice applause for all of our students who have come forward. They really work very hard to provide the best that they can as students and people. On behalf of myself, I want to say thank you for your kind attention and your enthusiastic response here. Our students will come forward this one last time, again, to bow out of the demonstration. This is what they do in class as well. Then they find a way to unify themselves and not so much to